The Intercept is reporting on an interesting investor meeting where Johnson & Johnson CEO Dominic Caruso explained how fair they are in pricing pharmaceuticals. I mean, that's funny at face value. Any, pharmaceutical businessman like, oh, us? I do this for the good of the people. I'm not trying to get rich. Don't worry about that. So here's what he said, quote, I think we're very responsible in our drug pricing. And we tend to support the price of our drugs with strong economic data. So rather than pledge to a particular number, he's talking about to lower prices here, I think it's important that we continue to develop robust data that provides a solid foundation for the value that our products provide the healthcare system. I like how that just became word salad at the end. I think it's important we continue to develop robust data that provides a solid foundation for the value that our products provide the healthcare system. Official things, data, pricing. I'm important. Okay, so I need you to compare these statements, and the first line is probably the most important. I think we're very responsible in our drug pricing. Compare that with this reality. Quote, Johnson & Johnson has gained notoriety for the high cost of its drugs. It produces and markets the cancer drug Imbruvica, which retails for $154,922 for a year's supply. $154,000. Okay. Another drug it produces, Olysio, is used to treat hepatitis C. It costs $264,000 for an annual supply. Hepatitis C treatment costs are forcing state governments to consider rationing care for their Medicaid and prison rolls. Okay, now this is the part where ignorant people, call it what it is, will fire back and just in a reactionary way defend them and say, but you don't understand economics and the way the market works. They had to do it because they had to do it. Supply, demand, something. Well, let's look into that. Quote, investor documents show the company spent 12.6% of its total sales in research and development compared to 26.6% it spent on selling, marketing, and administrative expenses. This means the company was spending twice as much on marketing and sales as on actually developing the drugs. Oh, I see what's happening here. They're fucking you. Okay, they're fucking you. There's no rationalization. There's no justification. There's no, well, what are you going to do? It is what it is. That's what it costs. That's why we got to make it, and then we got to sell it for that much money, because we're just getting by making pennies on top of it. No, you're not. You're price gouging up front. We've covered stories on that before in the past. For-profit hospitals do that as well. And then also when you take the money in, the idea that like, what were we going to do? 98% of the money just went to cover the cost of the drugs. Not true. Not true. You spend more on marketing and advertising and paperwork and overhead and all this other shit than you do on the actual drug itself. And this actually reminds me of Obamacare. Because in Obamacare, one of the provisions that very few people spoke about or knew about was that health insurance companies needed to start spending 80% of their money on actual healthcare, on actually paying for people when they get in trouble, when they have a health issue. Now, in the past, there's a reason why they put this rule in place. Because in the past, there were ratios that were like 50-50. So 50% of the money is going to other shit that's not health. That's not going to healthcare when you're a health insurance company. It's going to overhead and advertising, marketing, and all this nonsense, and only 50% or thereabouts is going to doing what you say you exist to do. So Obamacare comes along and says, "How about no? How about 80% of the money goes towards the shit that you say it's supposed to go towards?" We need something like that for this too. I mean, pharmaceutical companies are just running wild. Did you know that? I believe it's Medicare or Medicaid. I think it's Medicare. They're not allowed to negotiate for drug prices. So they need drugs, obviously. They're Medicare. And they go to the pharmaceutical companies, and the pharmaceutical companies can just say whatever, and Medicare has to pay it. And the taxpayers pay for it. That's us. We pay for it. Think about that. So because of corporatism and corruption and bribery behind the scenes, you have the companies paying the politicians, and the politicians do favors like this for the companies. Because of that, you and I don't even get to haggle with our tax money as to how much they're going to charge us for pharmaceutical drugs. So they could charge us 10 times more than they actually should be charging us. And we have to pay it. This is unheard of. The system is wildly corrupt. The system is full of price gouging. The system is screwing you over in a variety of different ways. And what are we doing?